Let's see if everyone can hear me. Okay, let me see here. Go ahead and type in a hello and hit a Y in the chat box to make sure that you can hear me. Awesome. Lynn, Angela, Pat, thank you so much. And just type in a Y and where you're from. This is Jim Tortsakis, the unknown light warrior, also known as the unknown light warrior. And welcome to the 5 Archways of Shadow Work 2.0. And this is quite a development in the world of internal energy healing. It's really moved things forward in a big way, and the 5 Archways of Shadow Work 1.0 was already powerful enough and was getting great results. So welcome everybody. And we have some new people here. So I will be structuring things for new people as well. Denise, Pennsylvania, Jason, Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Elvira, great to see you again. Rijeka, I suspect that's how you pronounce it, in Croatia. Jennifer, fantastic. Catalan, Sentes in Hungary. Really wonderful to see older new faces, or older new names, I guess. So we'll get started in a minute, fully and officially. And just be sure to turn off any notifications. And there's a flickering light near me. I thought I fixed it, but I guess I didn't. So I'll just quickly investigate that, work out what's going on. Otherwise, we'll hold it behind me, perhaps. Fantastic. So everyone seems to be on. Those who are able to make the live sessions are pretty much on by now. Make sure you're comfortable in your room. Close the blinds and all that kind of thing. Okay, fantastic. Now that we're more settled, let's begin. So, welcome once again. This is Jim Tortsakis, your shadow work guide or coach, also known as the unknown light warrior, with the 144K Mass Meditation Group. And the 5 Archways of Shadow Work 2.0 is a further revolution, and I'm going to use the term augmented, amplified version of the 5 Archways 1.0 version, which was already incredibly powerful and unique in covering those 5 often overlooked or missed main basic areas and fundamentals of shadow work, that, generally speaking, we can ill afford to not include within the one session, producing not just something that's holistic, which produces faster change, but something simply more, well, synergized, period. Okay, and each Archway process with the 2.0 version is roughly 10 minutes or so. And it's something that the world really needs, as the ultimately 5D cosmic purifying energies, winds and codes coming from both the galactic central sun and not just our sun continues to purify. And that can be a lot like jumping into a bathtub full of Epsom salts and you have a few open scars here and there. It's obviously going to sting. Okay. And that needs to be resolved to make ascension and your return to your truth. Not the so-called truth that you've been given through lies, through events, throughout your current incarnation and all past incarnations that are still there, vibrating away, attracting more of the same. None of that is based in any truth and perspective and understanding. And it's time to be free and move forward and upward to more confidence, bliss, calm and peace and joy in that consistent, controllable way where you exercise the control. As you see on the slide, it's a tool that's made for our times, holistic, done in 1 hour. All right, practitioner level stuff for self-healing, which is ultimately the best way to go. Ultimately, that's the goal, the ideal goal to have, which is self-healing. With, of course, support. You're not on your own. All right, for the average person out there with a busy life. So now, like I said, the ascension process must be heart-opening and mind-awakening with those incredible, amazing aha moments on a consistent basis, not a constant dark night of the soul, which simply and is ultimately stemming from some form of unresolved resistance internal. And the quicker way you can locate that and know what to do with it, you'll be so much better off. It's incredible. And again, we found that it makes the biggest difference by covering these 5 particular areas within one session after extensive trial and error and years of experience with clients and working on myself and loved ones. It's great for quickly overcoming ascension symptoms, let alone getting us all through this massive shift of the ages and restoring confidence and inner knowing and that certainty. And that is worth a lot. Anything that dissolves fear, again, in that controllable way, where you're in control, it is worth an immense amount. So, quick introduction to the teams. And you can bring your own guides with you. If you consciously work with any, that's fine. But I want to invite you to consider working with specialist teams, because there's so much more out there than just the archangels. Okay. So the first level of the teams are what's called the Gamalgam. They're 6th and 7th density auric technicians, especially on the unique human energy field. And they're the lowest levels of the team. And they have a direct lineage to the team of beings who created this very unique universe. And they exist in ships. Simply, they look like white discs. And they're brilliant at transmuting and healing. And very astute in that regard. And I've been working with them since 2010. And have never need to move on from them. Never needed to find someone else or anything like that. In spite of the roughness of this past, couple of decades at this point. Then we have the elders of the Gamalgam, which is Merrin, the feminine, and Ru, the masculine. They sometimes step in, but rarely need to, and they do oversee. Okay. Then we have Oberon, and that is the team of beings who created this universe as a final attempt, if you will, and resolution to corralling darkness back to the light that started infecting the whole multiverse and multiverses. All right, and they present themselves as one man, and you can simply see him as a golden being of light, if you prefer. It sort of doesn't matter in one regard. Then we have the Hod, and they're way outside of seemingly all that is. They're managers and overseers of the multiverses. And let's just say, to cut a long story short in describing them, they rip through anything, so to speak, in no time. No matter how heavy duty or, shall we say, deep any form of resistance or contrasting energy is. Sometimes they step in when and as needed, and they're, it's as if they're in a very special, little-known realm or void above all that is. Still, obviously, beneath Source, of course. They're true emissaries of Source, the divine, authentic, organic Source. These guys are way outside any matrix and simulation for that matter. And they're pretty translucent. And you may simply see them as very translucent kind of light beings. There's 5 of them specifically. And, you can take a few sessions to build your sense of them and your connection with them, which is fine. You're going to be working through my field as well, initially, to get more enamored and connected with them. As you use this session, this special time-space creation created from each audio session that you do each week, it's all real. Okay, you're there with us and with me in the same time space or in your own unique, tailored, individual time space, even though it's a recording. So with that out of the way, let's just quickly go over each archway to help the rational mind, lay the expectations and the lay of the land for the rational mind to get you more comfortable. Archway 1 is all about your auric field for really any form of current life block, whether it's usually some kind of event that's either traumatic in an emotional or physical sense or mental sense, or non-traumatic, where you misinterpreted something or may have done an unconscious vow without knowing, whatever the case may be. Okay? But it'll all appear as a given time-space event, which is still, within your aura somewhere. And there's an easy way to locate it with the right question. And again, for that faster start in life change, it has a more immediate effect, as explained in the course. Roughly 10 minutes. And it includes specific focus on the mental and emotional body imprints. Archway 2, the DNA aspect of it, and the ceaseless vibration. And in 2.0 version of the 5 Archways, this now includes parental and ancestral DNA. So that took 5 minutes, and now takes 10 minutes for very wise and worthwhile reasons. Archway 3, pulling out entities and your suppressed aspects, such as the wealthy you, the powerful you, the validated and heard you, etc. Through the solar plexus. That's roughly 7 to 10 minutes. As it relates to the same issue that you originally present to the teams. Archway 4, the past life block, that's underlying the whole thing and led to, or directly caused in some cases, the current life event that we dealt with in Archway 1, roughly 5 to 10 minutes. And Archway 5, where there's some real extra magic, shall we say, which is the critical step to build on in terms of your mental, energetic, and spiritual muscle to keep on building on and get practiced at, because you do get better at it once you get comfortable with it, which is going beyond what you know, your current level of paradigm and consciousness, and how to create that mental container field for the teams to work within or through. Because they sort of need a certain level of your consciousness to work within to reach you. Because your consciousness is kind of like the connecting link, kind of like a carrier wave for their energy and their light to get in. And that's, again, a little known thing in the world of shadow work and energy healing. And that is more a very open-ended thing in every sense of the word, especially mentally. And it's a critical skill and muscle to build. Extremely powerful. And that's anywhere from 5 minutes to 7 or even 10. That's where you personalize it even more in terms of how long to do it. So the whole thing takes approximately an hour, and that includes going up to the Gamalgam ship, which is at that beginning of the session. Now, this is quite important because almost 80% of people, they still don't find visualizing as a very seamless, natural thing. And there's a simple mental trick to that, which bypasses the rational, aka analytical mind, namely the left hemisphere. There's a simple hack around that, and I'm going to constantly remind you of that throughout the session, because that's the only issue. You can visualize quite easily if you know these couple of simple hacks to go around the left hemisphere brain or analytical brain, which is incredibly rigid with its beliefs and habits and wiring, and to bypass that and go direct to the right hemisphere brain, which is what this sort of work is for. Otherwise, you would not have a right hemisphere brain, quite literally. So, with seeing, or visualizing or seeing psychically. It's natural to see it, whatever it is that your intent or question is on, either before, in many cases, or as you set the intention or ask the question, sort of the same thing. To a point where you've got to be quick to catch it. Once you realize this, you're mentally aware of that. So just trust that you can do that, because that's actually the natural way. You just weren't aware of it, therefore blocked it mentally and couldn't notice it. When you set the right intention or ask the right question, which is really 80% of the work, what you see next can't be wrong, because you can't imagine anything that is not within your subconscious mind or superconscious mind per that right search term and algorithm within the search engine, ultimate search engine of the right hemisphere of your brain. So it's all good. You can't trust. Again, it's 80-90% asking the right question or having the right intent. And that's a big part of what the 5 Archways walks you through. Really holds you by the hand. And of course, number 4, don't think. And here's a big one. Psychic seeing occurs beyond thinking. That's just the way that is. It's more of an instantaneous thing where you get that initial impression, even as you ask the question or set the intent. You've got to be sort of quick to catch it. And it's quite often faint, initially at least. And by beyond thinking, what I mean by that is, as you can see there, number 5, don't analyze or base it all on any kind of expectation. That's the thinking part. Let go of any form or kind or shred of expectation. Really got to sort of just jump into the unknown and spread your arms or spread your wings, so to speak. All right. And so don't analyze or try to understand any first impression. It's often instantaneous, like I said, as you set the intention, and never wonder or worry about getting it right. That's not how the best psychic work happens. All right, again, just don't think, go with the flow, let go and trust. Never expect to see something, especially with current incarnational stuff. All right, you may expect to see something because of a certain kind of childhood you had. Rest assured, what the real block is usually something deeper that you can't remember. So really let go of any expectations and be enthusiastic about going beyond and outside your reference points. All right. So the ultimate formula for effortless and accurate psychic vision, also known as remote viewing, certainly similar to that, because functionally that's what it is, remote viewing. Nothing exotic about it. It's natural. And that is, it's the now plus correct intent or question multiplied by not thinking equals easy and accurate vision. The now plus correct intent multiplied by not thinking equals easier and accurate vision. That's the formula. Now, the now, people often associate that with a place of no mind, which is not true, not the case. If you ever get to place of no mind, it means that you somehow magically had a lobotomy. Okay? And a former teacher at an ashram, those Indian ashram mystical school type things, Sadhguru, he's on YouTube. You might have come across him. He said, the mind is actually a profound, amazing gift. Namely, the higher mind, I guess. He says, that's more like the stairway. The mind is kind of like the stairway to ascension and the pathway to the upper dimensions, once you know how to use it. That's what he said. And this is what this is all about, the 5 archways. Once you know how to use it, it'll finally get you places in a big way. So that's the mind. The now certainly includes the mind, but the right hemisphere mind, or brain for that matter. The now is an access point, kind of like a portal to no time. That's what the now is. Where you step out, it's literally an access point outside the matrix or in a simulation or false, anything false, light or whatever, illusion. You get through it simply by accessing the portal, using the mind, accessing that portal known as the now. That's what the now is. It's not just something that's outside of time. It's outside of everything, really. Intent, straightforward, knowing the right intent is critical. And of course, not thinking, which is a form of letting go and detachment. Pick your language that works for you. Ultimately, it's not thinking is simply hacking past the left hemisphere brain, since they're going into the right hemisphere brain. So, let's get you started. I'll see you on the next track in the actual process itself, now that you're ready and prepped. And you can always listen to this or watch this video again before the next few sessions, if you ever need to. See you in the 5 archways process. Okay. Sorry I had to do that for the sake of the recording, but this does need to get out there. And we'll get started in a minute. Make sure you're fully comfortable. You get your final position, shall we say. Make sure you have water, phone on aeroplane mode, etc. Again, I do have to verbalize things as if it's a recording because, like I said, this really needs to get out there. Good on you, Annie. Yep, you'll get the final polished, edited copy, hopefully as early as next Friday. Now, what I'm going to do is quickly excuse myself for barely a minute. Take your bathroom break. Go ahead and do that now. And we will get started with Archway 1. This is very exciting stuff. You're really about to make real breakthroughs. Welcome, beloved one. Now take 3 slow, deep breaths through your nose. And as you do that, know that I'll also be giving you energy and assisting you and supporting you lovingly with visualization that uniquely represents you. As there is no limitation to the higher mind and the superconscious mind when applied in that higher consciousness and limitless way. Wherever you are in this world and in your evolution and journey. And I'll be walking you, holding you by the hand, guiding you closely in a free-flowing, seamless way, the way the right hemisphere of your brain likes, but that your rational mind or left hemisphere brain may find a bit too quickly based on his perception, intentionally, so that it doesn't have a chance to get in the way. So, detach. It's all good. And remember, your consciousness is already everywhere, which is the truth of who and what you are. Limitless consciousness. Now see a white disc, the ship of the amalgam, just above the atmosphere. You can see the blue, fuzzy sort of hue of the horizon just below in the background. And see this disc from a side view, perhaps. And repeat after me. Authentic amalgam of the authentic organic Oberon lineage. Please take me up to your ship now. And even as you finish the sentence, you see a small, thin beam of white light coming from underneath the center of this white disc, going straight into the atmosphere, through any cloud line, or into the dark, scattered little galaxy of lights, of towns and cities that you may be at if it's nighttime. And all of a sudden, see things from a first-person perspective where everything goes bright white as this beam reaches you already. And it's really bright, you have to squint your eyes, it's so bright. And then perhaps see yourself from a third-person perspective from outside, where you see this beam all around you. and some of the background of the room or area that you're in, and see yourself floating up from your chair or couch and just gracefully moving up through the ceiling if you're indoors, and then take that other instant outside view of being above the roof of your house or building. Whatever angle naturally comes to you, you're in charge of that. And you rise through the roof and up through way above your house, seeing the surroundings briefly. And all of a sudden, see yourself zooming up through the beam of light from that outside or third-party perspective. And now return to first-person perspective, where you're inside the beam of light, where it's very bright. But because of the non-local nature of your consciousness, at the same time, you see that you're already above the cloud line, or way above the city lights, or the lights of the towns, neighbouring towns that you may be in. And you look up, you glance upward, and you see the dark blue of the sky being way above the cloud line, and the undulating ridges of any landscape beneath the clouds. When you glance up, the dark blue all of a sudden turns into almost like a black of outer space, and you realize you are now above and outside the atmosphere. And you look directly above, and you see the ship, which just looks like a white dot, dramatically and quickly become much bigger and closer as you approach it, and is covering your whole upper area of your vision. It's pretty bright. And then perhaps switch to an outside perspective from the front, where you see yourself going up into the ship, with your head and shoulders disappearing into the white light, within the white beam still, going through and into the underside or center of the ship, and your upper torso is gone, your hips and then your legs go in, and then lastly your feet. And in you are, the white beam of light disappears, leaving just the atmosphere and clouds, or the brightness of the sun's light bouncing off the Earth's atmosphere. And now back to first-person perspective. And you just see that same bright white light as you're being acclimated and transitioned into this high-dimensional ship. And the bright white light disappears, and you're inside the interior of the ship. And you may see the interior as a stunning indigo colour, or you can choose violet if you prefer, the darker tones, surrounded by the amalgam at a bit of a distance, but in an even in a circle around you. They're all standing about 7 or 8 feet apart. Tall, relatively human-looking beings they always seem to have capes or gowns. Very bright white beings. And just look at them there. And as you just see them there, repeat after me. Are you the authentic, highest amalgam love and light? And have a little bit of background consciousness on the center of your chest or solar plexus area to notice or feel for an answer coming from them. And it's okay if you don't. That's just a question of your wiring not quite yet having the reference points. And repeat after me. Are you of the authentic, organic Oberon lineage? And notice for any feeling. Okay. Now repeat after me. I'll call upon the authentic, organic elders of the amalgam, Merrin and Rue, and see him or her up ahead, off to the left perhaps, and repeat after me. I'll call upon the one true authentic Oberon and see this male golden being of light up ahead, perhaps off to the right, and repeat after me. I call upon all of my higher density aspects, my higher self, and see him or her a little further to the right, perhaps to the left of Oberon, in whatever way makes sense to your rational, analytic mind. Feel and see him or her. And remember, as the old saying goes by Pablo Picasso, everything that you can, quote unquote, imagine is real, when really knowing how to use the mind. And repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my authentic organic soul. And directly up ahead, behind and a little above the amalgam, see what looks like a star in amongst the stunning indigo background, perhaps. That is this vast field of power and light and consciousness that is your soul, which is who you are, and it is immortal. Repeat after me. I call upon my authentic, organic oversoul and see a slightly bigger ball of light forming kind of like a ring around your soul, being behind your soul, and you can have it as a different color to differentiate. And now repeat after me. I call upon my one true authentic I am presence. And see this sudden, immense, intense brightness of white light, perhaps another bigger ball of light just behind your oversoul, forming a white ring of long rays of light behind your oversoul. And repeat after me. I call upon the one true authentic HOD. And the HOD appear all around. There's 5 of them, but you can see 2 of them to the left and the right behind everyone. Very translucent light beings. And you don't have to maintain visual on all of these teams at all times. You don't have to do that. Okay. Now, briefly, for a minute or two, show the teams whatever it is that is your current challenge or goal or life situation that you need addressed, examined, cleared, resolved. And it could be anything from, like I said, a challenge, a problem, a relationship issue, a physical ailment, a basic negative emotion, a project, whatever it is. And you don't have to relive it, but just show them images of that. Show the energy of that. Memories, if it's an incident. And at a minimum, maintain some visual on the amalgam and your soul, oversoul, and I am. That's enough throughout this whole session. And you can always hit the pause button for an extra minute if you need it. And like I said, just briefly show them this, because it can all be done in a split second. Show them images, a situation, examples of a situation or events that's representative of the whole thing. And after showing him some images or memories that's representative of the whole thing, or just a little bit of an emotion, if it's a negative emotion, you can verbalize it as well after you show them some things. And while you're doing this, just have, like I said, the amalgam at a minimum, somewhere in the background of your consciousness as you're showing them this. You don't have to see them perfectly, in the visual sense. Okay. And now, like I said, it'll feel like we're rushing through this according to your left hemisphere analytical brain, but we're catering to the right hemisphere brain. So go with the flow and detach and let it all happen or be seen instantaneously. Now repeat after me. Authentic amalgam. Soul, oversoul, and I am. What's the highest priority block the one that'll make the biggest difference for me now, that resulted in what I have shown you and is secretly controlling my current life. Okay. Now, use the limitless, non-local nature of the right hemisphere of your brain, in other words, the higher mind, and see yourself as if you're facing yourself. So from the perspective of the teams. So turn around and you're standing, but only see your auric field. Only see that vertical oval-shaped aura. Pick whatever color you want. You can always choose any color you want for backgrounds or whatever you're focusing on, whatever comes naturally to you. And now, just with the right intent set, the right question asked, with the teams and myself guiding you and supporting you, zoom right in to your aura. Go right in, and all you see now is that particular color that you chose to represent your aura, and you're actually traveling through almost like an infinite expanse. And just maintain vision of that single monotone color as you're being taken to that number one time-space event, that of your current incarnation, secretly controlling your life, that'll make the biggest difference for you as it relates to what you presented to the teams. And all of a sudden, that color of your auric field, which is a vast field, by the way, disappears, and let go. What's that instant, initial, often faint, first impression that you get? Not often a vivid image. It's rarely vivid. Now go beyond. Any reference points or memory or expectations, do go beyond that. Completely let go and detach the right hemisphere of your brain that is sharply connected to non-local time and space does have the answer. The answer's there. You just have to receive. What's that instantaneous image? Let go. Receive. Don't try in the slightest bit. It is there. Catch that faint image. Notice it. Or impression. And it could be anywhere from the moment of conception onward. Allow that image to form, and if needed, using the highest form of consciousness that this mischievous matrix calls imagination, which is simply right hemisphere thinking, really. Allow the image to form, or utilize so-called imagination if needed, and see it at a bit of a distance, at a safe distance. And now see that person, or maybe child, or maybe infant, or maybe unborn. It doesn't matter. That's not relevant. It's whatever the intent that's clear and specific has shown you. Don't worry about getting it right, whatever it is that you see. Let go, allow the image to form fully, and whatever it is that you see, usually yourself 95% of the time, turn that person, that you, in that time space, turn it white into a powerful white light, as if you're turning yourself into a white light body. You don't have to see it clearly. Faint images are typically the accurate ones. And you can float around, play around with angles and perspectives, or just allow it. The right hemisphere of your brain and the teams, for that matter, and your soul do the work for you in terms of presenting the image. Again, you don't have to see it perfectly at all. And now repeat after me. Authentic amalgam. Authentic soul, oversoul, and I am. Retrieve that soul fragment there. And see that bright white light body of whatever form or age it is. And some of the background. Don't worry about getting the background right. See the white light body, and you can darken the background a little bit if you want, whether it's somewhere indoors or outdoors, whatever. Zoom out and see that little white body and raise it up. See it go up through the ceiling if it's indoors, or up with whatever landscape is in the background. Or in some cases, if it's within the 9 months after conception, before being born, to see that fetus perhaps white and just coming out through your mother's stomach, whatever the case may be, and raise it up. Another 100 feet or even 200 feet. And just say, soul, take me back. Authentic, organic soul, take me back. And see that light body in amongst the whatever background it is in that time space, going up into a big ball of light, disappearing into those rays of white light on the underside, because you can only see the small underside portion of your soul because it's so huge, and disappearing into it, into your soul, which is never far away. And in he goes. The white light body just disappears, usually head first, And then the lower torso and legs, and in it goes, gone into this blissful white light of your soul. And see your soul disappear. Leaving whatever background. And now, briefly zoom back out to within your aura. So don't leave your aura yet. And all of a sudden you see the same color that you originally saw when you dove into your aura. And allow yourself to just barely visibly, very holographically make out your actual body. You can pick a color for that. It can be the same color, but within your aura. Okay. Now, if what you saw was something from conception to early childhood, allow yourself to see similar events in the form of little dark grey black spheres close to a whole layer of it, like a thin layer of dark grey, which is a conglomerate or collection of all these similar sorts of events around close to the outer auric membrane of your aura, to the edge, furthest in the outer parts of your aura. And if it's from puberty to adolescence, those similar sort of events will be another dark grey layer, which again is a collection of those little dark toroidal spheres of these time-space bubbles, sort of in between your outer auric membrane and your body. And if it's recent decades or adulthood, it'll be much closer to your body in terms of seeing a dark grey layer of similar events. And you can see it in a cross-section kind of way, as if you just sliced a lemon or an orange, where you can see the rind. Okay, and you can just see your upper torso area. You don't have to see your whole body necessarily. And now repeat after me. And you're saying this to the teams. Retrieve all similar events and blocks. And just turn however many dark grey spheres, or these three respective, or one of the three respective dark grey layers around your aura, depending on age bracket, just see them instantaneously turning white. And then from whatever angle or distance you want and naturally comes to you, see these layer of white that are all these time-space events just come outwards and then float upwards, outwards out of your aura and then floating upward. So you may want to zoom out where you see perhaps the dark indigo background of the part of the ship that you're in, and see this floating, transmuting, healing and retrieving white light of this layer of your aura float outwards and upwards, sort of merging together upwards into like a trail of white light, and moving into a big ball of light, say 20 feet or whatever, that is your soul. And this white light now, trail of white light, just disappears up into your soul. And now Repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul over soul and I am. Scan and clear my emotional body and clear all wounds and infection caused by this negative event and similar events. And now see your holographic body. Pick a color that to you represents your emotional body. Again, you can put yourself in a white oval shaped background if it helps. You're in control of whatever background colors you want to differentiate. And see whatever instantly comes up in terms of dark grey areas within or throughout your emotional body. And if it's, again, it's already there right as you ask the question or set the intent, just catch it, turn it white. Watch it disappear, leaving that pristine colour of whatever colour you chose to represent your emotional body. And in many cases, because infection does spread, sometimes the whole emotional body can be a pretty dark grey. If that's the case, instantaneously, seamlessly, without trying, turn the whole emotional body white. And perhaps contrast it with the indigo background colour. And then watch the healing transmuting white light. And you can start from the head downwards to the toes, or from the toes upward to the head. It's all up to you. See the white light sort of receding or being pulled forward as if sucked out by a vacuum cleaner. Whatever comes naturally to you. See the white light receding, leaving in its wake a pristine, healed, clear colour that you chose for your emotional body, all the way down, all the way up, depending on which way you go, down to the other end of your body, swiftly and gracefully. And done. You can be that quick when you're working with auric technicians supporting you. And now repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul over soul and I am. Scan and clear all mental body scalar wave, subconscious programs, beliefs derived from this negative event, and same or similar process, pick another color that to you represents your mental body. And it's okay if you see these false, negative, subconscious programs, scalar waves or beliefs as presenting as dark grey throughout your whole mental body. And turn your whole mental body bright white. Again, change background colour behind your body. And see that brightness and see the bright white light receding from one end of your body and in its wake leaving a cleared, clean, pristine, pure colour of the colour that you chose to represent your mental body, all the way down and done. And now quickly, repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul, oversoul, and I am. Download and install the divine polar opposite scalar wave programs in line with my original organic soul blueprint to fulfill my purpose. And now look up at your soul, represented by a big ball of light, say 20 or 30 feet above, and see a beam of golden light language specifically, go down and through you, through your whole aura actually, and see it lighting up in gold. Your entire mental body in particular, and it's all gold. And if you zoom in a little bit, you'll see those little vertical strands of light language, those funny shapes and symbols from that similar to that famous movie we all know. You know, it's kind of like a cross between Chinese writing and Arabic writing, all these funny shapes and symbols. And make sure they're gold colored, streaming in through your mental body. And zoom out and see their whole mental body is lit up in gold. And repeat after me. Install and run this divine scalar wave programs. And that stream or beam of golden light up from your soul stops, and you can allow that process to complete itself. And we're done with Archway 1. Now turn to the teams, see the amalgam, soul, oversoul, and I am at a minimum, and repeat after me. Authentic soul, amalgam, legion of light. Present relevant or affected DNA on this clearing session. And now turn back to yourself. See your perhaps upper torso holographically, and see a white bubble, a oval-shaped horizontal sort of white bubble, and see the relevant or affected DNA strand, double helix, a snippet of it, and see the double helix two strands holographically, and just hold the intent that they represent and include all your higher non-physical strands, not only your physical strands. And if you haven't already, allow yourself to see, whether it's close up or from far away, from outside the bubble, see any greyness, dark grey marks, blemishes, little geysers leaking your energy. And you can float around close up over the two strands, or you can see the whole snippet of DNA, all of it appearing as a grey colour. Any greyness, in whatever way you see it, turn it white. And again, you can always change background colours of either the strands themselves, the holographic image of the strands themselves, or the bubble itself, to differentiate between the white healing and clearing light. And see all these white marks, whether close up or from far away, whatever instantaneously comes to you in that effortless way, turn them white. Don't have to see it perfectly at all. Faint images work just as well. Abstract images work just as well. See what is already there in truth without an ounce of trying. Let go, detach, as if you don't care. And just go quickly and swiftly from one end of the two-strand double helix, racing all the way to the other. Again, you can always darken the background color of the bubble to a dark violet or indigo or dark blue, whatever comes to you. All the way from one end to the other, leaving behind, as the white light clears those marks and little geysers and blemishes, see the white light as it recedes and closes on any given mark or little geyser, leaving behind in its wake a pristine color that is those two holographic strands. From one end to the other, it can all be done pretty quickly. And now, instantaneously zoom in up close to one of these holographic strands. And repeat after me. Authentic amalgam. Show any dark presence related to this session. And see. Allow yourself to see any form or kind of entity often appear there, even as you ask the question. It could be any shape. Again, go beyond expectation. Let go. It could be a creepy crawly of whatever kind. It could be a hominid shaped entity. It doesn't matter. See it there. Even if it's faint, catch it, turn it white. And as you turn it white, again, you can always darken the background color of the holographic strand and simply watch it disappear. And now, in the same area, check for any vortex, small vortex. Again, it appears even as you start thinking about it, either in the same spot or just slightly around where the entity was. Instantly catch it, turn it white. And again, you can always shift background tonalities from dark to light, whatever. And watch it disappear. And now zoom out. And repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul over soul. And I am. Download and install the divine opposite energies and frequencies and programs of what has been removed throughout this DNA in line with my divine blueprint and soul purpose. And now zoom in, see one end of this DNA snippet. You can see it all holographically, and see two golden discs appear within each of the strands and see them move through each of the strands and swirling around downwards through the strands, leaving behind almost like a stereotypical fairy gold sprinkling, gold dust, a long trail of golden dust as they swirl through your DNA double helix, racing towards the other end, briefly lighting up your two strands in what is essentially golden light language and very different frequencies, energies, and programs. You can zoom out and enjoy this beautiful image if you want to see the whole thing. And it's reaching the other end of this double helix and see it reach the other end and stopping. And as I stop, between the two strands, you see a sudden flash of white light zoom through the opposite direction, back up the other way through your snippet of DNA. Almost like a white flame that just zooms through. Again, don't have to see perfectly, enjoy, just have fun. And we're done with this part. And now repeat after me. Authentic Soul, Gamalgam, and Legion of Light. Show parental and ancestral aspects of affected DNA to this clearing. And now see another oval shaped bubble just up above this one with almost like another DNA strand, holographic, representing your parental and ancestral aspects. And you may see it all grey. You just go through the same process. Turn all those parts white and then see the white light, marks, blemishes, little geysers, turning white throughout both strands and then receding, leaving that pristine holographic colour that represent those two strands. Okay. And now, see it recede. And now zoom in. And repeat after me. Zoom into one of the two strands. And repeat after me. Authentic amalgam. Show any darkness to this. And same process, if there's an entity there, turn it white. Watch it disappear. Then look for any little vortex around. Turn that white. Darken background colors as needed. Watch it disappear. And then zoom out, see the whole snippet, and repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul, oversoul, and I am. Download and install the divine opposite of what has been removed from this parental and ancestral DNA in line with my divine blueprint and soul purpose. And same process. See the two golden discs at one end of the two strands, see it all holographically, streaming through, swirling through the double helix, racing towards the other end. reprogramming, altering the frequencies and vibration of the parental and ancestral aspects of this whole issue. And this is really great for any ancestral curses to DNA as well. And then just say, install and run for both strands. Okay, well done. Archway number 3. Now stand back a little bit. Again, change background colors as needed. See your perhaps upper torso area of your holographic body. And repeat after me. Authentic soul, oversoul and amalgam. And authentic hod. Can you pull out any entities and heal and retrieve any suppressed aspects of me? And just look at the solar plexus area. And again, the image, as you ask the question or set the intent, usually appears at about the same time, because the answer is right where the question is asked or the intent is set. The two exist together simultaneously. Again, faint images is often how it appears. And turn it white. Whatever it is that starts to appear in your solar plexus area, see it at a bit of a distance. You can put yourself in a white quarantine sphere if you want to. And turn it white as it begins to appear and pull it out. And again, you can always darken the background colors of either your holographic body and the interior of the ship into an indigo or something like that to differentiate that now transmitting white thing, whatever it is, and pull it out. And as you pull it out, say 5 feet or 10 feet away, zoom out a little, watch it disappear. And just do this process another 2 or 3 times. What else comes up? And it could be just an irrecognizable shape of whatever kind. Pull it out. It could be any kind of creepy crawly. It could be a hominid looking so-called demon. It could be anything. Don't judge or analyze. Just turn it white as soon as you see it appear from around or within or just outside your solar plexus. And just do this 2 or 3 times as it relates to this issue. You can always hit the pause button if you need to and watch them pull stuff out, one after the other. And don't worry about getting it right. Use your so-called imagination. In other words, the higher mind. And if they're faint, especially if they're long, because sometimes they're kind of like parasite-looking things, seize it, turn it white. If it's a light grey sort of colour or weird shape, turn it white. Darken the background color if you need to, and pull it out. You don't have to get it just right or see it perfectly. It doesn't work that way. And once you've done that, look for a suppressed aspect as it results to this. And it could be a very like a stencil-like light grey outline. Again, usual, the suppressed. And it might look kind of dark grey and even evil, even though it's an aspect of you because it's been suppressed, it goes toxic and infected. So it might look a little dark. And that's okay. Turn it white, change background color, move it out. And you can do this once or maybe twice. Doesn't matter. One after the other. And once you've done that, move through to sort of refresh and see the center of your chest area. And repeat after me. Authentic soul and Gamalgam. Authentic Hod and I am. Show me any portals in the center of my chest. And check for any, they'll look like even golf ball size, dark grey spheres. Catch them, turn them white. Again, change the background color of your chest area and watch them disappear. Zip, gone. One after the other, quickly, casually. Anything else you see, just turn it white and darken the background color of your chest area and watch it disappear. Don't try to analyze or work it all out. That comes later. And well done. You finished archway number 3. Now archway number 4. See your holographic body, illicit upper torso area, and repeat after me. Authentic soul, oversoul, Gamalgam, and Hod. Scan, find, and show me the past life event that caused or led to this current life issue shown in this session, preferably to the original core event that cast the original die. And now perhaps darken your whole upper torso area, chest area, where you can see your head and into a dark indigo, and see a point of white light in the center of your chest. That is your soul, because that's where the soul resides. And just zoom right into it, as if you're in there already. And it's bright white, because your soul also acts as a portal as well. The right question has been asked, so the answer is right there, so be ready to catch it. And it's very bright as you're taken to that time-space event. That will be correct because you've asked the right question. And the bright white light all of a sudden disappears. And if you haven't already, catch that initial impression, that initial image that was there before you even had a chance to think, or the analytical mind had a chance to get in the way. And if needed, allow it to form. You can always hit the pause button if you need an extra minute or so. And turn. Now, this could be in any era, and in some cases, any non-physical plane. It could be anywhere, including other worlds, outer space. Could be anything, anywhere, but don't try to judge or analyze. That comes later. Go beyond your any expectation. What's that initial image, and allow it to form a little bit more vividly by letting go even more. See a little bit of the surroundings. Again, it'll be something outside of any expectation. And as always, if need be, hack your way around your rigid left hemisphere brain or analytical mind by asking yourself, what's the quote-unquote most absurd thing I could possibly come up with or see right now? Just to circumvent your left hemisphere brain and free your mind, because it'll be the correct, accurate image because you asked the right question. And zoom out a little bit if you need to. And turn yourself white. Again, you can sort of darken the background landscape or area. Turn yourself white, like a light body now, and raise yourself up. If you're indoors or inside something, up through the ceiling or whatever, outside, up through whatever forest or tree line or village or futuristic city, whatever the case may be. Let go and raise yourself up. See yourself from a distance or close up, whatever works for you. And repeat after me. Authentic soul, take me back. Authentic amalgam, retrieve that soul fragment. And continue to see yourself rising up into the sky if it's on a planet, or if it's in outer space, as is sometimes the case, just further out, up above, an extra 100 feet or so into the big ball of light that is your soul, and you disappear into it. And once the feet are in there, all the way up, and all you see is your soul, see your soul disappear, and done. And zoom out, back out through the white light, and out your chest. And well done. Let go. You can always ponder the ins and outs of that after this session. Now turn to the teams. At a minimum, see the amalgam, your authentic soul over soul and I am, and repeat after me. Authentic amalgam, soul over soul, I am, and authentic HOD. Please complete and amplify this clearing to my highest light holding quotient by going far beyond what I know, far beyond my current level of consciousness, and beyond my mental and spiritual paradigm, well into the unknown, I present and will hold my consciousness on this mental container field for you to work through and within to actualize this. Now, just continue as if you're sitting there or standing there looking at them. And you can do this one of two ways. One is from the first person perspective, where you're just looking at them and feeling what they're doing. The other is a third outside perspective, third person perspective, where you're as if you're standing alongside two of the HOD, two of the amalgam in that surrounding circle that they're standing in. and just see yourself, perhaps in a quarantine sphere of your color of your choice, looking at your holographic color that's in another color of your choice, your holographic body that's in another color of your choice. And this is where, once again, you go beyond any expectations, judgments, analysis, and just watch for another 5 minutes, perhaps, because they work outside of time, so they can do huge amounts at once, up to your light holding quotient. And by watching and very enthusiastically going beyond your current frame of reference, awareness, paradigm. Again, you don't have to understand what you're seeing. Let go and just watch. This really builds your spiritual muscle, your consciousness muscle, and greatly expands your paradigm, which is critically important for ascension and handling it and being in control and charge, because you're getting your mind, your wiring is getting used to being stretched, but in a controlled and safe environment. Really big deal. A critical ability and skill to build. And this is like anything else, where you have your good days and your bad days. It's okay. It still happens. Faint or abstract images always seem to work just as well. And continue to watch. For another 3 minutes, perhaps, or another 10 minutes. What strange phenomena that you've never seen before are you witnessing? And hold the teams either visually in the background or somewhere in the background of your consciousness as you watch, and hold this mental container field for them to be able to work through and within. That way, the carrier wave of your consciousness and your energy system, for that matter, can receive what they can provide and deliver far more. And enjoy it, have fun with this. And then go even further beyond your expectations. Things that are almost fleeting, that you don't understand, but it's there. A whole heap of stuff appearing and turning white, being pulled out, being turned white. And anything you see, allow it to form. Watch it. It doesn't go past the quarantine sphere. It quickly gets zapped into white. You may see all sorts of weird things. Doesn't matter. Practice at this. You will get more comfortable with it. This is a critical and fundamental aspect of spirituality and consciousness growth and evolution, where you learn and get practiced at going beyond expectations, beyond your current paradigm. almost as if you're in a forest and you're watching a butterfly floating past. And doing this for 5 minutes total is enough because I work through so much. Be the silent, quiet witness far beyond. Again, take that occasional glance at the amalgam and maybe one other hod on the far side. And perhaps put as much visual attention and focus on them and 45% visual focus on you in the foreground, in the middle. Watching all this movement of light and irrecognizable shapes occurring with fleeting dark grey stuff. Turning white and promptly disappearing. And well done, beloved one. You can stop when you feel that you are done. And I do mean well done because you've done the equivalent of 10 solid, deep, one-on-one sessions with a live healer or psychic surgeon in one session, catapulting you forward. And once you're done, let go. More information and answers and revelations will come in the coming hours even. Go for a walk. Watch an enjoyable movie. Do something completely different to allow this process to complete itself. Because sometimes an overnight sleep cycle is needed to complete the process because of such a heavy focus on your current incarnational system and wiring and physical level DNA. And see how you feel tomorrow morning. Remember to drink plenty of water. Do all the sensible things. Ground yourself if you need to by standing on your bare feet on grass for 5 minutes. Whatever it is that you need to do, because this is quite a release and influx of light and divine electromagnetic energy. So ground yourself if you need to. And a big well done to you for taking charge and moving upward and forward. And I'll see you next time, helping, supporting, guiding, and creating the space for you to walk in and thrive and heal. This is your loving servant, Jim Twartzakis, Shadow Work Guide, also known as the Unknown Light Warrior. See you next time on your next session, beloved one. Okay, we are done. Now, obviously, we're going to edit this down somewhat. I just wanted to make sure it's all there. And unfortunately, we've only got 5 minutes of the live broadcast left, but do leave your feedback because the chat does stay live for another hour or so. So do leave your feedback. Go ahead and type that in now. Tell me the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, because all sorts of things happen, both good and bad, such as the nature of the release process. But what matters is how you feel either after the session or even halfway through the session in some cases, either after the session or the following morning. That's what matters, how you feel then. So go ahead and type in your feedback. I do monitor and examine every single one. And like I said, as you do that, do leave, you will get the edited down version of this 2.0 version of the 5 Archways. It'll come in a few days. We'll try to get it ready by Friday. Is our goal. Next Saturday is the latest, where we hold our first support Q&A. So watch your inbox for that. And again, I want to know how you went. And if you didn't feel anything or don't feel anything different because sometimes that happens for a minority of people, you may feel completely different tomorrow morning or your next morning. Sometimes that happens as well because it's such a deep process that the body still has to process it overnight. And then you feel it. All right. So let me see. Elvira, thanks. Thank you, Jim, mate, and everyone. Laura, please do provide a replay to the full journey. Yep, you get a lot more. The replay comes out of this unedited webinar replay. It comes out automatically in about 2 or 3 hours. Again, the edited audio will come in about 5 or 6 days maximum. Demetrius, very nice name. I feel like an apartment that had the furniture rearranged. That's a good way to put it. Interesting and new way to put it. Marissa felt a beautiful, light, emotional release at the end. Interesting. LN or Lynn, I believe it is. You can leave your feedback right here. Or if you need the overnight process, if you will, you can just email it to us. And that'll be just fine. And again, for those of you who didn't or don't feel much right now, check to see how you feel tomorrow morning or when you go through that overnight sleep process. Okay. I'll be very interested to know. This is something that I'm taking extremely seriously because energy healing methods and tools, they're an evolving process, an evolving, developing thing as well, like anything else. Jason, I started feeling lighter and refreshed from clearing the parental and ancestral blocks from the DNA. Okay, so that's where, in your case, Jason, was the primary issue. LN, fantastic, thank you. Okay, I might I might get cut off here, but I'll read yours out. Again, those of you who don't feel anything or don't feel any different as of now, you can mention that as well. But again, do write to us if you do feel something or different, even if it's just calmer, freer, more relaxed, or more confident, something seemingly insignificant tomorrow morning. LN, kind of got lost about the parts where we're supposed to turn stuff white and do darker background colors, or maybe our torso stuff darker. Yeah, that's a tricky one to verbalize. Just do it your own way, basically, long story short. And the suppressed aspects and the core events that started off the current not good stuff. Yeah, that's just stuff that you turn white and pull out. I only say to darken background colors because sometimes some people need to do that, including me, to distinguish between the stuff that you've just turned white or transmuted, in other words. It's a difficult thing to verbalize and guide people in while still giving people enough latitude to work in their own way. So I understand where you're coming from, Lynn, or Alan. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. Not too sure if various parts, what was supposed to be happening or what we were supposed to be doing, also drifted in and out of consciousness in some parts and didn't get to repeat stuff. Finally, I just told the teams to just have at it and do their thing. Yeah, that's reasonable. Some sessions, especially when you're learning or your mind's getting used to something, you just, go with the flow. And in ensuing sessions, you pick it up. You understand it. It's always kind of awkward with first sessions